Meowdy everyone, it is I, the Fable of Fables, your new best friend. How you guys doing? So I'm reacting to some horror scary stuff for the month. At the rate I'm going, I might have everything set for the month and won't even have to worry about it. God, I'm gonna feel so excuse me. I'm gonna feel so burnt out after all this is over. I've talked about it a couple times before, and Joti, if you're looking at this, I know you said good luck when learning about the lore of learning about the lore of what do you call it, Morrowind, but I think it's kind of interesting. The Ash Blight are such an interesting concept, especially given the fact that they're zombies, but they're not normal zombies. They're different, and I really, really want to learn more about them. So yeah, here we go.
Hello YouTube and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls lore video. Today we're talking about the Corpus disease, a group of severe skin diseases in the Elder Scrolls universe. Now quickly before we begin, I'm very sorry for the spotty upload schedule. I have been very busy and I'm preparing several bigger projects for you guys in the background, so very sorry for that. That said, let's get right into the Corpus talk.
This dude's really cool though. I'm really glad I found someone that makes this kind of content. Without him, I wouldn't be able to learn about this stuff. Please go subscribe to him, guys.
Hey, post-recording Zork here. So before we begin, I let someone listen to the audio of this video and he said that the things I describe can be mildly disgusting because of the symptoms of some of the Corpus strains. So yeah, you're warned for that. The visuals will just be old Morrowind graphics, so don't worry about that. Let's start.
Yee.
Go Zork in the past. So corpus, or as the Dunmer call it, skin blight, is not a single disease. Many people associate the word corpus with the disease that we see in the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which is called the ash blight, which is just one of many corpus diseases. You see, corpus is a general term for a family of skin diseases in the Elder Scrolls universe. This can range from very mild rash diseases to skin-destroying diseases like the ash blight. Just like in our own universe, there are several different types of influenza or the flu virus with different ranges of severity and different attributes to them. The most common forms of Corpus disease on Tamriel are actually relatively mild variants of the disease, which we don't know the names of, but they're usually caused by unsanitary conditions and parasites.
Right.
This disease, while I call it mild, is absolutely not a fun thing to have, as it still
Yeah, no, it sounds extremely horrifying. What do you mean? Why would anyone say it's mild or have fun to have? What the frick?
severely damages and corrupts your skin and flesh, but it's simply severely less damaging than some of the stronger variants of Corpus, as this form of Corpus can actually be cured and it could also be avoided, and rather easily at that by, for example, often bathing, often cleaning your clothes and eating clean food.
Valid.
All pretty obvious stuff for modern standards, but definitely not something which is so obvious to the people of Tamriel, who live closer to medieval standards than we do, of course. A curious thing to mention here is that for some reason the Dark Elves are actually more susceptible to forms of Corpus than other races. We don't know why it is, perhaps it has to do with their genetics, or perhaps Morrowind has just worse hygiene standards, although that's not very likely, as most of the healers in universe speculate that it's because of their specific skin complexion and skin makeup. But these lighter forms of corpus are all naturally occurring and aren't necessarily what most people think about when they hear the word corpus. The image that most people see when talking about corpus is this one, the deformed creatures with rotting skin and severe mental damage. The strains of corpus that inflict this amount of damage, although not non-existent in nature, mostly get caused by unnatural means, usually deliberately created by individuals who wish to inflict harms upon society.
So like necromancers, witches, alchemists who are monsters. Gotcha.
Society, like Dagothr when he created the Ash Blight.
Right.
However, while these kind of really bad forms of corpus disease are usually created deliberately, they aren't always caused intentionally. Like, for example, during the Second Era, when a mild form of corpus disease called the Flay Blight inflicted a lot of Dunmer
The Flay? Wait, did he say Fay or Flay? Because, oh god.
on the western coast of Varenfell. That was a great mystery to everyone. This sudden corpus infection posed a mystery to many. Nobody really knew where it came from until healers discovered that it was accidentally caused by a change of the formula in a popular mystic face cream in Morrowind.
Oh, Jesus.
No, really, I mean, this is literally in the lore.
Oh,
Look up
wow.
the book Study of Skin Diseases from Elder Scrolls Online. There's literally the mention of the face.
Here it is. Dark Elves rushing to place. Spawn So I soon must be ill-favored by. Wait, where is it? The Blight's Corpus has been mentioned. The Flay Blight. Yeah, it's
Ice cream.
Flay.
But of course, while this flay blight came to be by accident, there's also forms of Corpus which have been created completely intentionally, such as the ash blight that I've talked about a couple of times now. This ash blight, or also called the divine disease by some, was set loose on Morrowind, specifically Vvardenfell, by Dagolth in order to weaken the grip of the Tribunal, the Empire, and other ruling powers he saw as illegitimate in Morrowind. This strain of Corpus disease was specifically engineered to be hard to deal with, as it was quite severe in its effects and really seemed uncurable for most of the Third Era. A lot of cures were tried, potions, healing spells, strange rituals, but nothing really worked, and the disease itself was very potent, misforming people who got infected, and even infecting some of Morrowind's native species like the Quama and the Netches, which turned increasingly aggressive because of the disease. The disease itself not only misformed people, but made their bodies rot and also affected their sanity.
Jesus Christ, dude, that sounds like a horrifying zombie virus.
Slowly turning them mad until nearly nothing of their own personality remained, and all they could do is just mindlessly walking around in their rotten body husks of their former self, essentially like zombies. This was very problematic, especially since the disease was very contagious and spread around Morrowind not only by the people infecting each other, but also due to the ash storms that came from Red Mountain carrying the disease. These ash storms carrying the disease caused people in at-risk areas to start wearing protective clothing and caused the Tribunal to erect the Ghost Fence, which was a large magical barrier that we can see in Morrowind erected around the Red Mountain, specifically erected to stop the ash storms from spreading the disease. Unfortunately, the Ghost Fence proved not to be enough to stop the disease, as the Tribunal's strength waned during this period, leading to the disease being spread anyway across Morrowind despite their attempts to stop it. The Sixth House, who are the followers of Dagolth, also got infected by the disease, but for some reason they never truly turned insane and were able to remain their lucidity throughout their infection. Many of Dagolth's followers actually called the Ashblight an evolution of the Dunmer, something which should be embraced and also brought.
That's actually kind of insane, like legitimately, of the fact that they think they should see it as a evolution. That's horrifying.
Benefits, which we will touch upon in a bit, but regular citizens that were infected usually got persecuted and banished from society as they slowly lost their mind and infected other people.
Oh jeez.
The only person who by the time of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind still attempted to find a cure for the disease was the Telvanni sorcerer Vtuber. He made the Corpusarium, a cave system which served as a safe haven for the infected to live in, as he and his clones did experiments on them in order to find cures for the disease. As we know, the last living Dwemer, Yaghrun Bogarn, also ended up in this infected Corpusarium. I did a video on him a while ago and I recommend watching it if you wish to know his full story. Anyway, Vtuber discovered some remarkable things about the disease. For example, he discovered that those infected with Corpus, even in its latest stadium, still retained part of their personality, and more importantly, he discovered that while a subject was infected with Corpus, they were actually immune to all other diseases.
Wait, what?
They did not really seem to age either, and had
Wait, what? If you're infected with that, you're immune to other diseases? That's interesting.
Increased endurance. This led him to change his thinking, and rather than search for a cure, which seemed to be impossible as the disease refused to be cured, he searched for a way to transform the disease as it was in someone's body, not ridding them of the disease, but possibly slowing the negative effects down or completely removing them, but then keep the attributes that he saw as positive, such as the immunity to disease, the agelessness, which could mean immortality, and of course the increased strength.
Oh god.
He then started developing a method to isolate these positive attributes, and the Reverine, the player character of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, became the first person to be applied the method to, leading to the Reverine becoming immune, ageless, and much stronger than before, overcoming the negative side effects. That said, shortly after the Vtuber discovered this cure, the Ashblight problem was actually solved by the Reverine, who defeated Dagolth. This caused the spread of the disease through ash storms to stop, and it's presumed that many of the people who were infected before the Reverine solved the problem, that they got cured by the Vtuber, which makes it a possibility that actually part of Vvardenfell is now ageless and far stronger.
That actually sounds like a horrible idea, but okay.
Specifically using the term ageless, as we don't know whether it's complete and true immortality, but it's definitely close to immortality. That said, a few years later they all just got wiped out by the Red Mountain during the Red Year, so did it really matter? Well, we don't know. You decide. That said, it's basically all I can say about the strain of Corpus disease. I hope that you learned something today, and if you did, I hope to see you all in the next Elder Scrolls lore video. Now, before I end things, allow me to thank my top patrons, Mr. Bernardo Binda, Gabriel Binda, Metalloid1v1, Mr. Christmas, Mr. Para, and Hammer of the Scots. These people, along with all the others on screen, make my weekly lore series possible.
Yeah. Alright, guys, if you like this kind of content, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to check him out. He does amazing work. I'll leave a link in the description. If there's any other thing you want me to learn about Elder Scrolls, please do let me know. I'm very curious about the lore. However, there is some stuff from the lore I am going to probably stay away from due to the fact that some of it is really questionable. Really, really uncomfortably questionable. Anyway, guys, I love you. I'll see y'all later. If you want to support me, I'll leave a link to my Ko-fi. I doubt it, but hey, you do you. Okay, bye.